love it.
This retirement thing is real. Why?
You got old, Michael. This is a bad idea.
The film opens with Duncan Visla, a seasoned assassin known as the Black Kaiser, who visits his doctor for a routine health checkup. Despite appearing to be in excellent physical condition, the scars etched into his skin and the metal fragments embedded in his body tell a different story. After a brief examination, the doctor finds no health concerns aside from Duncan's smoking habit. "I quit," Duncan asserts, to which the doctor responds, "Good for you." Duncan, who works for an organization called Damocles, is approaching a significant milestone. On his 50th birthday, he will receive an $8 million pension, a benefit that comes with the company's policy of retiring assassins at this age. During a discussion about a $200,000 donation to an undisclosed recipient, Duncan's personal accountant reminds him of this impending payout. Meanwhile, in Chile, we are introduced to another assassin named Michael Green, who is also on the brink of retirement. Unlike Duncan, Michael is reveling in his last days of freedom, celebrating with a beautiful woman named Cindy and indulging in a myriad of substances. His carefree lifestyle takes a dark turn when he is abruptly shot by a sniper. A team of specialized assassins, including Facundo, Hilda, Carl, Alexei, and Cindy, has been dispatched to eliminate him. Why? To which he retorts, "Not that old after all." The team efficiently completes their mission and departs as Michael's life slips away. Following Michael's funeral, Duncan reconnects with Vivian, a fellow assassin who now manages assignments for Damocles. She informs him that their boss has tasked him with one final mission: to exact revenge on those responsible for Michael's death. However, Vivian misleads Duncan by naming a Mexican assassin living in Belarus as the culprit, rather than acknowledging the team that actually carried out the hit. To sweeten the deal, she promises Duncan a payment of $1 million for this last job. Duncan remains silent and leaves the restaurant. Back at his home in Triple Oak, Montana, Duncan receives multiple messages on the Damocles private network. To evade detection, he destroys SIM card after SIM card before finally reaching out to Vivian. In response to her increasing offer of $2 million, half up front and the remainder upon completion, Duncan hesitantly instructs her to upload the necessary information onto the Damocles server. As Vivian seeks authorization from Mr. Blute, the head of Damocles, it becomes clear that he has ulterior motives. In a bid to increase the company's value ahead of a planned sale, Mr. Blute has been orchestrating the murders of retiring assassins to claim their retirement funds through a loophole in their contracts. Mr. Blute is determined to avoid paying out any pensions, opting instead to eliminate assassins as they reach retirement or when their contracts expire. Among them, Duncan stands to receive the largest pension fund, making him a prime target for Blute's ruthless scheme. By assigning Duncan one final job, Blute is cunningly setting him up for elimination as well. Vivian, aware of the danger posed by the Black Kaiser, advises her boss to honor Duncan's pension according to the contract to avoid provoking him. She understands that Duncan is not someone to be trifled with, yet Mr. Blute stubbornly pursues his treacherous plan. Unbeknownst to Vivian, Duncan has quietly begun to investigate everything related to his target. Once he gathers sufficient intel, he travels to Belarus to carry out the mission without informing her. Disguised as a maintenance worker, he arrives at the target's hotel under the pretense of fixing a door, deliberately making noise to provoke Gonzalez Pedro inside. This strategy pays off as Duncan seizes the moment to pin his target against the wall. After dealing with several henchmen, he discovers a file containing details about himself and realizes he has been set up for assassination. Determined to uncover who orchestrated this betrayal, Duncan grabs an electric drill to interrogate the Mexican hitman, but the man proves unhelpful. After eliminating his target, Duncan snaps a photo of the body and contacts Vivian, stating that he will accept the job offer. Upon receiving the $1 million down payment, he immediately sends her the photograph and demands the remaining payment within 24 hours. Vivian, anxious and alarmed, rushes to inform Mr. Blute of Duncan's successful mission and his demand for the full payment. She implores her boss to comply quickly, warning that the Black Kaiser is not one to take lightly and will likely retaliate if provoked. Fearing Duncan's potential wrath, instead, he instructs his team of elite assassins to eliminate Duncan. After completing his mission, Duncan returns home, haunted by memories of his violent past. As he navigates his daily life, he notices Camille, a new neighbor in the house next door. Their paths frequently cross at the convenience store and local restaurants, where Duncan observes Camille's sadness and her tendency to flinch at sudden noises, indicating she is enduring a tough time. As time passes, Duncan and Camille forge a bond, spending more time together and sharing conversations. In an effort to support her, Duncan buys her a gun and tries to teach her how to shoot. However, Camille struggles with the weapon, unable to pull the trigger and clearly troubled by it, likely due to a traumatic experience in her past that continues to haunt her. Meanwhile, a team of specialists embarks on a relentless mission to track down Duncan, beginning by applying pressure on his personal accountant to reveal his whereabouts. Under duress, the accountant reluctantly provides a file detailing 4 properties owned by Duncan, each situated in different states. However, despite his lack of knowledge regarding Duncan's current location, the assassins coldly eliminate him on the spot. With no time to waste, they methodically visit each property in search of their target. Their first stop is Florida, where Cindy arrives as always in a flamboyant outfit, but the situation quickly spirals out of control. The apartment is occupied by a tenant who mistakenly believes Cindy is a service worker he ordered. After exhausting their search at all 4 locations and finding no trace of Duncan, the assassins ruthlessly dispatch the tenants at each site.
Come on, I wasn't gonna...
Speak.
We got one more place to check.
You okay?
USA! One!
Can you get it done already, goddamn?
Hey! Stay still. Come on!
Let's get the fuck out.
Digging deeper into Duncan's financial records, the team uncovers a series of substantial $200,000 transfers made to an unknown recipient through a bank in Triple Oak, Montana. Shortly thereafter, Hilda contacts her boyfriend, Mr. Blute, confidently assuring him that she will eliminate Duncan. The assassins arrive in Montana and finally locate Duncan while he's out purchasing another gift for Camille. On his way back, he encounters the charming Cindy, who feigns car trouble and requests his assistance. With her phone conveniently dead and unable to call for help, Cindy cleverly maneuvers her way into Duncan's home. She mentions that help will arrive at 10 a.m. the following day, allowing her to stay overnight. Throughout the night, she playfully teases Duncan, igniting a spark between them while Facundo and the other assassins prepare to ambush him. Cindy positions herself to aid Facundo in taking the shot at Duncan, but just as the trigger is about to be pulled, Duncan instinctively evades the attack, placing Cindy directly in harm's way. She suffers a severe shoulder injury as bullets rain down. In the chaos, Duncan leaps off the bed to take cover while Facundo unleashes a barrage of gunfire. Duncan retaliates with an expertly thrown axe, eliminating the threat. Moments later, Hilda and Carl burst into Duncan's home but find it empty. He has already slipped away and tracked down Facundo's position. In a swift confrontation, Duncan kills the sniper and seizes his rifle. Using the thermal scope, he spots Hilda by the heat of her breath and takes her out with precision. Just as he thinks he's gained the upper hand, Carl ambushes him from behind, but Duncan narrowly escapes death.
A different name.
In the aftermath, Duncan searches for clues about who orchestrated this deadly assault. His investigation leads him to a room key for an inn not far from his home. Upon arriving at the location, he discovers Junkie Jane in a drug stupor. During her rambling high, she reveals a shocking truth. Camille has been kidnapped by Alexei, who had uncovered the deep connection between Duncan and Camille through their relentless investigations. Duncan rushes to Camille's house, only to find it eerily empty. She has vanished without a trace. Meanwhile, in the opulent confines of Mr. Blute's mansion, rage boils within him as he learns of Duncan's brutal actions against both his girlfriend and his team of assassins. Vivian, unfazed by his fury, smirks knowingly and reminds him that she had forewarned him about the potential consequences of underestimating Duncan. "Don't be too upset, you'll find another girlfriend." Yet, her playful suggestion to pay Duncan off and end the conflict falls on deaf ears. This is personal for Blute. In desperation, Duncan reaches out to his old ally Porter, a retired assassin he trusts to understand the mind of their mutual enemy. After briefing Porter on the dire situation, Duncan learns that Blute is intent on eliminating him before he can retire safely, and he suspects that Camille is being held captive within Blute's sprawling estate. Just as Duncan prepares to leave with this critical information, Porter betrays him, drugging him into unconsciousness. It becomes clear that Porter has secretly allied himself with Mr. Blute, seeking a reward for delivering Duncan. When Duncan awakens, he finds himself imprisoned in the dark depths of Blute's underground dungeon, shackled and vulnerable. Blute has a sinister plan. With only 4 days left until Duncan's birthday, he intends to torture him and savor the moment of his demise. Throughout the ordeal, Blute taunts Duncan with photographs of Camille, attempting to shatter his spirit. Meanwhile, Camille remains trapped in a haze of confusion and drugs, administered by Junkie Jane. On the third day of his torment, as Blute viciously stabs Duncan with a favorite thin knife, a shard of the blade breaks off against a metal implant in Duncan's body. Enraged, Blute retaliates by slashing Duncan's face and stabbing him in his left eye. Left to languish overnight in a pool of his own blood, Duncan seizes the opportunity presented by the broken knife fragment to free himself from his chains. The following morning, when guards enter the dungeon, they are caught completely off guard by Duncan's resurgence. He swiftly dispatches them one by one. As Mr. Blute arrives on the scene, Duncan plunges the mansion into darkness by cutting off the power supply, using the cover of night to his advantage to eliminate as many guards as possible. In a desperate bid for survival, Blute attempts to escape as Duncan fights his way out, taking down anyone who stands in his path. Wounded but resolute, Duncan seeks refuge with Jasmine, a trusted gun dealer who helps him recover and arms him with advanced weaponry. Once he regains his strength, he contacts Vivian with a bold proposal: he will trade himself for Camille. She agrees to the deal but harbors her own treacherous intentions alongside Mr. Blute. Duncan prepares for the exchange at an abandoned warehouse, setting up his heavy machine gun and calling Vivian once more. This time, he doesn't rush to hang up or destroy his SIM card, allowing Vivian to trace his location. She arrives at the meeting point with a cadre of armed men, including Alexei. As tensions rise during their confrontation, Duncan offers Vivian a chance to walk away unscathed, but she stands firm in her confidence, refusing to back down from what she believes is an advantageous position. As the team readies their weapons to take down Duncan, he raises his hands in a gesture of surrender. In an unexpected twist, he activates his laser-guided heavy machine gun, and in a heartbeat, the air is filled with chaos as he decimates Blute's men with ruthless efficiency. To our astonishment, he chooses to spare the wounded Vivian, focusing instead on his true adversary, Mr. Blute. He hurriedly instructs his remaining guards to bolster security at his mansion. However, when Duncan arrives at the estate, the guards, gripped by terror, opt for flight rather than face the legendary assassin, Duncan Vizsla. In a desperate attempt to regain control, Blute orders Camille to be brought to him, but it is far too late. Black Kaiser has already reached Blute's sanctuary. With a swift, decisive swing of his axe, Duncan decapitates Blute, extinguishing his greed and tyranny once and for all. Having rescued Camille, Duncan brings her back to Montana, where he dedicates himself to helping her heal from her traumatic experiences. While exploring her bedroom, he stumbles upon old newspaper clippings detailing a horrific family massacre from years past. A chill runs down his spine as he realizes that he was responsible for that tragedy, an assassination carried out under false pretenses. The haunting memory of that fateful decision has lingered in his mind like a dark shadow. To his horror, he discovers that the sole survivor of that massacre was a little girl, Camille. Just then, Camille appears behind him, gun in hand, aimed directly at him. With piercing intensity, she confronts him, revealing that all she can see is the face of the man who shattered her world, the man who murdered her family before her eyes. "I wish I had died that night. Why didn't you just kill me?" Duncan offers a heartfelt apology and attempts to explain the circumstances that led to that horrific mistake. He acknowledges that Camille has every reason to despise him and stands ready to accept whatever fate awaits him. "If killing me will release you from your pain," trembling with emotion and conflict, Camille hesitates before finally pulling the trigger. The shot rings out, but shockingly, it does not strike Duncan. In a poignant twist of fate, Camille turns to him with a newfound resolve and asks for his help in uncovering the truth behind the order that led to her family's murder. With a solemn nod of understanding, Duncan agrees to join her in the quest for answers, forging a path toward redemption together. Thank you for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.